Here's what I learned being a passport bro.
Stop dating women in the United States altogether.
Didn't completely believe it when people said, oh,
But this,
Fuck you. Go away. Go find your women wherever you want if you're not satisfied.
See the anger? Do you see that? Triggered immediately.
Passport bros went around and said, oh, look at this other group of women.
Be honest, are you a passport bro? If yes, are you bold about it? Or are you still trying to decide whether to be vocal or not? Either way, you're not alone. The era of passport bros seems to be rising fast in the United States, and the debates around it are as heated as a barbecue grill. However, regardless of how you feel about the subject, one thing stays true. Being a passport bro can almost be likened to an extreme sport. It's one thing to visit a different, more traditional country in search of genuine love, but in the end, a lot of these countries are still developing, and as a result, they house the most despicable, desperate, and most dangerous humans in the world. And some of them are even the beautiful, unsuspecting women who catch the eye of the man. In this video, we will share some of the horrible stories of some passport bros
and then murder in Colombia earlier this week.
And how they fell victim to misplaced love. But for those of you who are still wondering what in the world passport bros are, and what in the world we're talking about, let's begin with a short lesson, shall we? The term passport bros is almost being used like some slang or not-so-secret code for guys on a quest for love in a faraway land. You see, these fellas are all about breaking the dating mold and seeking connections with amazing women from different cultural corners of the world. Why? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Controversial, but interesting. It all starts with a vibe that traditional values and cool behaviors are thriving more in foreign cultures than in our western neck of the woods. You know what? Let's dive a little deeper into the concept. Passport bros think some western ladies have embraced this kind of aggressive and not so chill feminist philosophy that doesn't exactly make for smooth sailing in relationships. They're not looking for drama, they're on the lookout for partners who bring qualities they're totally vibing with. Qualities that are, some would say, more traditional. So, what ticks off these passport bros about modern Western dating? They believe that most Western women have taken wokeness to a whole extreme level, to a point where being in a relationship with these women isn't conducive mentally and emotionally. According to passport bros, Western women exhibit behaviors that are too argumentative, confrontational, or scream manipulation. Traits that give off a strong masculine vibe, not their cup of tea. It's like they're saying, let's bring back the good old days of harmonious relationships, please. But wait, there's more. A huge concern for most passport bros is also the identity crisis they believe goes on in the Western world. Besides the fact that they believe that Western women essentially have become men, there's also a case of gender fluidity and all of the packages that come with it. And then there's the elephant in the room, false allegations. Passport bros are shouting from the rooftops about the unfairness of it all. They're not feeling the love from the legal system that lets some folks sling false accusations without facing consequences. To them, it's a threat to reputations and life in general. In a nutshell, passport bros just want some peace, appreciation, respect, kindness, and love in their relationships. They've got this radar tuned to values that seem kinda scarce in their own backyard. The shifting dynamics and cultural changes in the West have them saying, not on my watch. So they pack their metaphorical bags and venture beyond borders for a shot at something more aligned with their idea of a solid connection. The term passport bros is like a Pandora's box of attitudes, concerns, and motivations. Now, on one hand, you might say it's great and they're well within their rights to become passport bros, but on the other hand,
Go away. Go find your women wherever you want.
it has sparked a lot of debate as to whether it's fair, valid, or should even be allowed in the first place. The heated debates would leave you in a state of confusion as to which side to pick. But before we go there, let's talk about the origin of passport bros. It may surprise you that it dates back farther than you might think. Some folks argue about who started it, but it seems a guy named Al Grease, a documentary filmmaker, brought it into the spotlight with a film called Frustrated in 2011. This film explored the trend of black men leaving the US to find love in other countries, especially Brazil. After Al Grease's documentary, lots of guys, mainly from the black community, started making videos on YouTube, praising foreign women and giving travel and relationship advice. The movement really took off in 2019 and has been growing ever since. Most of these videos focus on Latin American countries like Brazil, the Dominican Republic and Colombia, or Asian countries like Thailand and the Philippines. While it started in the black community, it's now open to guys of any race. Now, why did it blow up in 2019? Well, that's when COVID hit and people were stuck at home with nothing much to do. Passport Bros videos became a way to escape the boredom. After the pandemic, some folks decided to check out what Passport Bros were raving about and went abroad themselves. There's this guy, Austin Abeta, aka the Digital Bromad, who's like the unofficial spokesperson for Passport Bros. He's got a big following on TikTok and shares his experiences and advice. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine. Some people think Passport Bros are just a modern version of mail-order brides. The movement has faced criticisms like being accused of sex tourism, disrespecting other cultures, and even gentrification. And there are these cringeworthy moments, like a YouTuber saying Brazilian women are easy, and another incident with some guys accused of sexual exploitation in Brazil. Now, is Passport Bros a real problem? Well, not everyone thinks so. Some say they won't ruin the reputation of all male travelers. But their concern is that Passport Bros are very public about their dating adventures, especially on social media. They've become a topic for articles in big publications, and that might not be great for everyone else traveling abroad. On a positive note, Passport Bros are honest about their intentions. They're not pretending to be interested in local culture or customs. Some men have found inspiration in the movement to explore the world, even if their initial reason was dating. But there is one major factor we're all missing, something that's more than a little concerning. It's the dark side of Passport Bros. A lot of men are falling victim while in search of love. In the end, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't. But you don't have to take my word for it. These are a few of the victims of the Passport Bros movement who are sadly too dead to tell their own stories. So, let's do it for them. Tou Ger Xiong. The day was Monday, December 11th, 2023. Tou woke up that morning with a smile on his lips and a skip in his step. He glanced out the window and let out a sigh. If he knew what horrible fate awaited him, perhaps he'd have taken the first flight home. It seemed like an ordinary day in the city of Colombia, and although he was only a tourist from Minnesota, he was not going to waste his time here. As a result, he had plans for the whole day lined up, and he went about his day with glee, posting his activities on social media to share his experience. He went for a concert, then he relaxed by a pool soaking in the sun. But the best activity for him was coming later that day, when he would meet the love of his life for a date. He had met her online, and now he finally got to go on a date with her. Unknown to him, he was being watched, and he was about to go through the ordeal of a lifetime. In the middle of his date, he was approached by multiple ruthless-looking men who seized him, kidnapped him, and then proceeded to beat him to a pulp. Then, a ransom call was made to his family, but before the money got to them, they had grown impatient. And just like that, 50-year-old Tou Ger Xiong was stabbed multiple times and disposed of by tossing him off a cliff like a sack of sand. His remains were found and identified by his family, and a wave of grief and shock enveloped his loved ones.
He was an icon in the Hmong community for decades before his kidnap and then murder in Colombia earlier this week.
And that crime is currently under
But this begs a lot of questions. How did this happen? What went wrong? Well, to answer these, we have to go back to the beginning. Tou was a basket of sunshine. He was a beacon of joy and happiness to those around him. And he even built a career for himself as a comedian who brought laughter to people's lives. Aside from all that, he was also a passionate social justice activist, using his platform to speak up against racial discrimination and other forms of oppression in society. As an Asian American, he knew he was fortunate and dedicated his life to speaking for those of other races who have no voice. But in his spare time, Tou loved to travel and experience other cultures. The nation of Colombia was his absolute favorite country to visit. He enjoyed their way of life, their culture and practices. It was on one of these trips to Colombia that he found a certain woman who seemed to capture his heart, and then he fell in love. Sadly, Tou could not stay in Colombia forever, so when he returned home, he kept chatting with the woman, and soon they began to date online. However, as with any other distant relationship, Tou missed his girlfriend and decided to plan yet another trip just to see her again. But little did he know, this would be his last trip ever. On Monday, 11th of December 2023, Tou's brother, Tou Ger Xiong, was rushing to catch a flight when he got a call from his brother asking for $20,000. Apparently, he was in a bit of a situation and he needed the money as soon as possible. For this was not unusual, but what he didn't know was that Tou was at knife point and the money was for his ransom. Had the money but could not send it at that point, and apparently this annoyed the abductors. They proceeded to stab poor Tou multiple times and then threw him off a cliff, killing him instantly. When investigations began, authorities discovered this was not just a kidnap. It was an ambush and facilitated by none other than Tou's new Colombian girlfriend. How did they know this? Well, after his death, authorities visited Tou's house in Colombia, and there they saw a young woman who was apparently trying to steal some of his belongings, or perhaps erase any trace of evidence that could point back to her. Before the police could give chase, she had escaped through the back door, never to be heard from again. This was the end of a stand-up man.
He was like in the never-ending shade.
A man loved by his friends and family, all to fall victim to the scam of online international dating. Saveh Djalali. Saveh Djalali, a spirited YouTuber with a passion for adventure, embarked on a journey that promised to unravel the vibrant tapestry of Colombian culture. Armed with a camera and an insatiable curiosity, Saveh set out to capture the essence of Medellin, Colombia, and share his experiences with the world. Saveh's desire to immerse himself in the rich tapestry of Colombian culture, especially its beautiful and diverse women, was fueled by a longing for connection and a thirst for exploration. He envisioned his YouTube channel becoming a portal through which viewers could vicariously experience the wonders of his travels. As he wandered through the colourful streets of Medellin, Saveh reveled in the warmth of the people and the vibrant atmosphere. Every corner seemed to hold a story, and every smile he encountered fueled his enthusiasm. Little did he know that this journey would take an unexpected turn, plunging him into the shadows of a sinister plot. 2 days later, Saveh found himself in a nightmare. The allure of devil's breath, a notorious drug known for its ability to incapacitate its victims, had cast a dark cloud over his once joyful expedition. Unbeknownst to Saveh, he became a target for a group of cunning thieves, skilled in the art of deception.
With a local girl, she invited me, offered me a drink in the morning without my phone, without my bank card, and then I somehow made it back to my hostel, I think.
His entire travel budget, including cryptocurrencies, vanished into the hands of the perpetrators, who, like shadows in the night, accessed all of his accounts while he lay defenseless. Stranded in Medellin, Saveh found himself facing an unforeseen dilemma.
They stole everything. I can show you.
Stripped of his resources and without a means to communicate, he grappled with the uncertainty of continuing his journey. The pain of losing not only his belongings but also precious video footage from Nicaragua added an additional layer of heartache. In the face of adversity, Saveh reached out to the community he had built, sharing his vulnerability and the challenges he now faces. He expressed gratitude for being physically unharmed, but acknowledged the uphill battle that lay ahead. Saveh's plea for support, whether in the form of a small donation or kind words,
a little bit of money, maybe $1 or $2 would be enough,
echoed through the digital corridors of his online haven. The story of Saveh Djalali, the intrepid YouTuber, is another one of the stories by which passport bros put themselves in harm's way as they search for more traditional women in different climes. A precautionary tale indeed. The story of Boogie. Boogie, a weary traveler from the United States, sought an unconventional path to romance. Disenchanted with the monotony of online dating back home, he yearned for a connection that transcended algorithms and profiles, a genuine organic bond with a woman who embodied the passion of Colombian culture. Boogie's journey into the heart of Medellin began with an air of anticipation. His eyes, accustomed to the skyscrapers of the US, widened at the cascading hills of colourful homes that adorned the landscape. It was amidst this kaleidoscope that he first laid eyes on her, a vision of allure and mystery. Then he met a young Colombian lady, embodied the spirit of the city, fiery and untamed. Boogie, driven by a desire for a connection that resonated beyond virtual realms, took a bold step into the unknown.
In Provenza, she didn't approach me, I approached her. I asked a gringo who lived here.
Initiating a conversation, and sparks began to fly. Or so he thought. Their initial encounter was a symphony of laughter and shared stories. Boogie found himself captivated by her authenticity, her stories echoing the rhythm of the city around them. The spark of connection ignited, and entangled in the magic of Medellin, they decided to explore the night together. As the evening unfolded, Boogie found himself navigating the narrow alleys and vibrant plazas, hand in hand with the enchanting Colombian lady. The atmosphere buzzed with energy, a palpable excitement that mirrored the rapid beats of his heart. The night held promises of spontaneity, of a connection born not from swipes but from shared experiences. However, the sweet notes of their budding connection took a sharp turn into a realm of suspense and danger. Unbeknownst to Boogie, the shadows of Medellin concealed a darker narrative. As they reached the threshold of her place, the warm glow of the night shattered into an unforeseen ambush. In an instant, the serenity of the night morphed into chaos. Boogie, caught in the crossfire of unforeseen circumstances, found himself facing a threat that transcended the allure of newfound love. Kidnappers emerged from the shadows, their faces hidden by the masks of uncertainty. A sinister turn of events unfolded, and shots pierced the air, leaving Boogie wounded and disoriented. The boundaries between romance and peril blurred as he fought to comprehend the surreal transformation of his Colombian adventure. Yet, within the chaos, a glimmer of resilience emerged. Boogie, driven by an instinct to survive, summoned the strength to break free from the clutches of his captors. The alleys that once echoed with laughter now bore witness to a desperate escape, a dance of survival amidst the cobblestones. Thankfully, Boogie made it out of the situation alive and was able to tell his story. But that night could have gone a lot differently. There is no telling the kinds of dangers that lurks around in a strange country. Nguyen, a logistics consultant from California, chose to visit Medellin, Colombia because of its lively nightlife and its reputation as a welcoming place for people who work remotely. But most importantly, he was looking for a female companion, possibly long-term. The 27-year-old planned a vacation with a friend, aiming to explore the city, soak in the atmosphere, and attend a Bad Bunny concert. In November, while enjoying his time there, he decided to give Tinder a shot. He matched with a young woman and agreed to meet her at the bar in the fancy El Poblado neighborhood, known for its stylish cafes and fancy restaurants. He took a sneaky photo of her, a slim woman with a brown hair in a white jacket and dark jeans, sharing it on Snapchat with a note about the language barrier. Sadly, Paul never contacted his friends again. The next morning, his lifeless body was discovered near a dumpster in a different neighborhood, more than 5 miles away. His wallet and phone were gone, indicating he had fallen victim to a drugging incident during a series of Tinder-related robberies happening across Colombia. Colombian police recently arrested Evelyn Henao Herrera, the woman accused of murdering Nguyen, along with 2 male suspects believed to be part of a gang involved in setting up robberies through dating apps. So at the end of the day, regardless of the reason behind the Passport Bro movement and whether or not the men are valid, one question remains: is it really worth it? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Hey, did you enjoy this video? If you did, please hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends. See you in the next one.